It's on, and we're gonna record as much as we can, and then I'll go back and edit all of this. My intentions is to and it's crazy because I would go live, but the way that's set up, Lord, we ain't gonna get into all of that. I'm gonna try not to anyway. But my intentions was to what was my intentions? My intentions was to get on here this morning, and I was full when I woke up, and I feel like I'm still full. So if your girl just happened to catch a tear or two, just know I'm a crybaby at times. But I'm a beast, so don't play with me. You hear me? I'm a beast, don't play with me. But I'm a bit of a crybaby. I've always been a sensitive soul. But today I woke up full, and when I woke up full, literally, I had to go and do my morning business in the bathroom. Just tinkle, nothing much. But it's like, you know, when I went to go and use the bathroom early this morning, I couldn't go back to sleep. And from there, you know, not even from there, because before then, like last night, the last few days, I've been thinking about the fact that there's a special person to me whose birthday was coming up. And today is her birthday. And it's my grandma, my paternal grandmother. And I love that lady. Anybody ever love somebody that, I ain't gonna even say I don't know. I feel like I do know her. I just never met her here in the physical realm. In the spiritual realm, oh, we've met. And God bless her soul. She's no longer here on this realm, in this earthly realm. But she's here, baby. She's here. And listen, y'all might see a strap. Ain't no telling what y'all might see, but listen, it's the blue and the green for me. In my divine maverick voice. I don't know. I just felt the need to sit at my table rather than over there. And I got a feeling I'm going to end up touching my cards. I hope it don't offend nobody. But then again, I can't control that. But okay. The last 2 days, the message has been about inner child wounding and wounds and healing. And with today being my grandmama's birthday, my grandma's birthday, I don't have a whole lot of stories about her. I have a lot of pictures, thank God for my daddy, who also has transitioned. Because I have a lot of pictures. At some point, I'm going to edit this video and add in pictures. I just needed the sound to come out and be clear more than anything, and the room to be made on this phone. By the grace of God, it's going to give me an opportunity to do so. And the video may even be lagging, because that's another thing I'm dealing with, like, you know, data, internet, all that good old stuff. Yep. So just hear my voice and hear the message that God has put on my heart this morning, this afternoon, or whenever you get this message. Today is my grandma's birthday, and I love my grandmamas, all of them. And I have Granny, who is still here with us, and that's my Auntie Pam's mama. Granny spouse, Papa, has transitioned, and the Papa that raised me, and my Papa Joe, and my Papa Elijah Ingram. Listen, yo, my lineage. We're going to get into that. One thing at a time, brain. Let's not put the horse before the carriage, as they say. But it's grandmama's birthday, and I'm so happy. I'm so full. I don't have a whole lot of stories about her. I just have what I've been told. And even that's limited because, you know, expectations, you guys. Expectations. Sometimes in order for us to truly enjoy life and God's gift of the unknown, it's best to release the expectations that we may have of ourselves sometimes and others. But unfortunately, I didn't have any family. Daddy would give me stories here and there, and I have to remember those as I go. But even when my daddy transitioned, I expected some family to sit around and us tell stories and things of that nature. Yeah, that didn't happen. But I did sit around, me and my mom, with my, we did talk some. Let me not take too much away from that. Me and the family did talk a little bit when we went to dinner after Daddy memorial services. The family that did feel the need to step back into this town. But my daddy's best friend, childhood best friend, Mr. Sam Lance. Shout out to Mr. Sam Lance and his wife, because they sat with me and my mom and talked with us and told stories. And he gave me this very endearing story about my grandmother and me and my picture on her wall, and how I knew it was the truth, because I knew that my mother had sent my grandmama that picture. And it's some more story behind it. Even the fact that my daddy I think my daddy got mad. My mama says my daddy got mad when she sent that picture to his mama. Child, listen. I'm gonna try my best to not to get in there. I've already said my prayer. So but he got upset, and I'm pretty sure he eventually got over it. But my grandmother had my picture on her wall, and when Mr. Sam Lance told me that, I smiled kind of hard, because I was like, "Oh, Grandma, listen." I longed for my daddy for years. For those that don't know, I met my daddy when I was 30 years old, but I longed for my daddy from my childhood. And I actually started looking for, now I know why I sat at this table, because to keep my hands busy. That's why I said I might reach for my cards. But I started looking for my daddy on my own when I think I was about 13. And the only information my mom had, it was very limited, because it had been so many years. And one of the first things she gave me was a picture. And when I saw that picture, people always said I looked like my mom, and I agreed. But when I saw the picture of my dad, I was like, "Ooh, that's my nose, that's my mouth, that's my chin, those are my eyes." Like, I saw it for myself. And then when she tried to tell me his mom's name, my grandmama's name, but it wasn't right. She thought it was the same as my maternal, which is my grandmama. I love my grandmama's, y'all. I was a grandmama baby. My maternal grandmama baby, listen, I was her baby. She was my savior. But she thought that they had the same name, but they didn't. My paternal grandmother's name is Inez Boyd Scales. My maternal grandmother's name is Doris Wright Baisden. But we talking about my grandma Inez, and I don't like calling her that at all, because baby, I ain't never said Grandma Doris, and never will. So my grandma Inez, and I'm only saying that for clarification purposes, but my grandma came to me in my dream and showed me some things. And one of the things that stuck with me, like, why is Penny laying on my dress right now, y'all? I feel it pulling down. I don't even know if you saw it adjust. But she came to me in a dream, and one of the things that she said that stuck with me was, "I don't care what they say, you my baby. You was always my baby." And so when Mr. Sam Lance was telling me about the picture that my grandma kept on the wall for me, it was confirmation that she thought about me as much as I thought about her. And like I said, I longed for my family, my daddy's side of the family. I longed for my daddy for years. But I long for my family. And we still talking about inner childhood wounding. And I'm guessing that was my battery just died on the camera over there because I heard it shut off. And child, I can't win. Whatever. Yes, I can. I'm winning right now. But I longed for her the way she longed for me. And when Mrs. Sam Lance told me that, I'm repeating myself, y'all, so keep up with me. But I think the last thing I said was I spoke about this inner child wounding, healing that is taking place. And that is very much present in a lot of our lives, including my own. You know, sometimes a lot of people don't know a lot of my story. And sometimes it's hard to tell because I just don't be knowing where to start at. I have so much that I have grown through in these 43 years of my life. I know I don't look like it. But I have so much I've grown through in these 43 years of my life that I just don't know when to start, where to start. I guess when too. And friends and people that know me, have grown me, know I got a few books in me. And I'm starting to get those out, so I'm grateful for that. I have my first series, the book, coming out real soon. Gift Experience is the name of the series. It's not just a book. It's also a journal and planner. And it's going to teach other people how to process their pain and traumas. But let's talk about my pain and trauma right now and my inner child wounding. My family. I've always been a family-oriented person. You know, my mother's side of the family was big on family. You know, we did family. We spent plenty of Christmases together, and my grandmother lived 2 hours away in the country, and most of her children moved 2 hours away in the city. And then you got, you know, my uncle that moved to California, and then my uncle that moved to Miami. So you know, they was, of course, more than 2 hours. But one thing we always did was come together for Christmas and Easter and Mother's Day and New Year's. You had to be careful about walking through grandma's door because the man had to walk through first. And we're going to get into that, too, because my grandma was something like a witch, and I love it. I said what I said. But anywho, think of Glenda. Anywho. Big on family, very much family oriented. And in Mother's Day, we spent Christmas, we spent a lot of holidays together, and it was nothing for us to get on that road and head to grandma. And that's what we all did. You know, the parents would bring the children down, and we would all be in the yard playing and kicking it, and all the adults in the house. And I remember things like even the men. My grandma had 9 boys and 4 girls, mind you. The boys would be out in the yard. Like, they would stay up so late, y'all. They would fall asleep in the yard because that's just how it was in the country. I remember a time when the community was truly community, and it was safe to fall asleep in the yard in your vehicle, on the back of the truck or in the car, and you didn't have to worry about nobody, nothing. It was safe for the children to walk the streets, and everybody knew who children and grandchildren, who was. And I miss those days. But anywho, I'm a very family-oriented type person. I have always been a sensitive child. So because I don't have a lot of memories of my paternal grandmother, I'm going to give you what I have. And a lot of it will be about me, and again, in my inner child healing that is taking place. I long for my family. I had to release expectations of even who my daddy and my mom was. You know, I realized once I was able to release these attachments and release, yes, I said attachments, even to your children and your parents. But when I was able to release the attachments and release the idea and the expectations of who and what I thought it should be and how it should be, I grew up on Disney movies, y'all. So a lot of my programming came from what I saw on TV or what I saw in other children and parents. And I felt like that should have been me too, but my reality was not that. I grew up in a single parent household. My mom had to work, you know, so she spent a lot of time at work. And me and my brother, we was at home, you know. My mom used to lock us in the house. Don't come out that door and don't answer that door. Some of y'all remember those days, you know. So she had to go to work, and to look up for her children, she made sure we was locked in the house behind burglar bar doors until my brother became of age and learned how to take the lock off the door. But that's a whole nother story. Oh, anywho, I love you, Daddy. I see you looking at me. But y'all gonna see me talking to my angels and ancestors and guides a little bit. Yeah, I ain't talking to myself. I know who I'm speaking to. Ooh, okay. I'm trying my best to slow down here, but it's so much I have wanted to say out loud, so I'm getting there. But you know, I long for family, and you know, even I would cry. So I remember crying so bad when it was time to leave grandma's house when we would go visit. And I remember my mama telling me, girl, if you don't hush that fuss. And, you know, and I would see my grandma stand on the porch and, Major, it's okay. Stop hollering. You're going to make yourself sick. Oh, God, I miss my people. And I miss my grandmother that I never had to an extent. Because I feel like her spirit was always with me and praying for me. I had 2 praying grandmothers. 2. And Granny watched me grow up too. I expected, and once I was able to remove those expectations, life between me and my family, I'm going to say my immediate family, my mother and my father, and maybe even some of my aunties, it got better. It changed because I was able to separate the fantasy from reality. And I made, okay, thank you, Spirit. All right, Daddy. That's my daddy telling me it's okay to tell y'all. So I made a video one year right before Father's Day to send to my father about, we had a nice little falling out, and we were 2 of a kind, as my mom would say. And we had a nice little falling out about, I felt he was being kind of insensitive and inconsiderate to what I was growing through at the time. And he didn't realize it, but I was going through something, and I was hurting a lot more than I wanted to admit or that I was showing out loud. And so he was on me about my Social Security and getting it restarted and this, that, and the third, because I'm permanently disabled. And he was steady coming at me, and there were some things that I didn't know concerning right before my interview. So because of that, they denied me to start it back up. So Daddy was getting on me so bad about, you shoulda, and I was like, oh my God. So I finally said to him, in my head, I said, why he keep coming at me about something I can no longer do nothing about? So I said it to him. I was like, Daddy, you keep coming at me about something I can't do nothing about. It's done. It's gone now. You know what I mean? I didn't know. And then he just kept going. If you know my dad, he long-winded. And if you know his child, you know I'm long-winded too. Anywho. And that made me think about, you know, when I was younger, I talk. Even now, some folks can see that I talk. But God has been showing me why he gave me this voice, because at one point in time, I didn't have this voice. I was told to be quiet when I was younger. I was told young ladies are to be seen and not heard. I was told you talk too much. I love you. I was told be quiet. Why you talk so much, girl? And eventually I did be quiet. And my mom used to read my diaries, because in her household, it wasn't no such thing as no closed doors, no privacy, no what's in this pocketbook, what's in this diary, I'm finna read it out. So I stopped writing, even to an extent. I stopped pouring out my truest heartfelt feelings and things that were bothering me, because I did not have the what I needed to be able to keep those things to myself, because I was growing. So it was always my release. But as I've gotten older, of course, I've gotten back into it. But we was talking about that voice I didn't have. And so now I got that voice back. And when I met my daddy at 30 years old, baby, I saw while I was loud. I saw, my bad. I saw why I was loud. Because that was another thing they told me, girl, why you so loud? You're just so loud all the time. And I was. I was. Everybody else even knew it. And I would come around with all of this energy and they be like, what's wrong with you? And it is one particular person whose nerves I used to get on. And so when I talk, I'm channeling her. And again, I love you. You know what I mean? I love you. So what? It don't matter. It's over. It's done. It happened. But she used to always be like, girl, you're so loud. Be quiet. Hush. Stop talking. Get off my mama lap. Y'all see how my brain works? I will go down a rabbit hole and get stuck. You hear me? Anywho, I'm coming back out of it. Just loud and talking like, oh, I made that video. Okay, so I made this video and I was talking about, well, after I told Daddy about how he kept going on and he wouldn't stop, again, long-winded, I sent him a message. See, I was going through a divorce at the time, and I sent him a message that said, you know what, Daddy? I basically, some of the words told him and my ex-husband had a lot in common. At the time, he wasn't my ex-husband just yet. We were separated. And I was like, y'all got a lot in common. It was the sarcasm for me, because after I told him what I told him, he sent me back this long message. Just, I think it was kind of him being very much sarcastic and almost, quote unquote, playing the victim. I guess I won't, and I want this and that. It was like, oh God, Daddy, you just being so dramatic. And when I said what I said, my ex-husband is Gemini. And if you know anything about astrology, you know it's Gemini and Sagittarius. And Daddy had a lot of Sagittarius in his chart. And I don't think he was thinking about any of that at the moment. And yes, it matters. Don't come for me. I said what I said. So the sarcasm, you know, Sagittarius and Gemini speak fluent sarcasm. And my daddy spoke fluent sarcasm. And for anybody to know, you knew my daddy could be the sweetest person in the world, or he's a Scorpio in his sun sign, or that Scorpio can sting you. So he didn't play. And he was military. My daddy did not play. You hear me? And because we were two of a kind, a lot of who I was my daddy. And as I've grown older, I realized my mama, that's what used to aggravate her so much with me, because I probably sounded a lot like my daddy. And I didn't know it. You know what I mean? One thing about it, when your mama told you to be quiet, you better be quiet. And I didn't always be quiet. I just had to either get my point across or get the rest of my sentence out. So I got popped in the mouth a lot. Like I said, be quiet. And popped in the lip. I love you, Mom. I can laugh about this now. Back then it was funny. You hear me? And that takes me back to the fact that I was a very sensitive child. And I'm still sensitive as an adult, so don't play with me. Anywho, I sent Daddy that message, and Daddy sent me back a long message. And so I made this video, and the message hurt my feelings. So I made this video, and it wasn't to get at him. I was in a process of growing. That was another thing. I was in a process of growing past my past hurts and facing my truths. And at the time, I felt the need to face my truth about what it was like for me to grow up without a father. And when I say y'all, I recorded that thing and I wrote that thing, and I wrote it first, and then I didn't want to write it and send it to him because I was afraid that he was going to take it the wrong way. Again, my daddy didn't play. And this wasn't our first falling out either. So I didn't want to send it to him in that manner. I said, okay, I'm going to just record it. If I record it and send it to him and share it with him, maybe he can see me. He can see the expressions on my face. He can see me. He can know that I'm coming from a genuine place. And I really just want to open up and share about my inner child wounding. Because, again, my feelings was hurt. And I realized my feelings were hurt because it all stemmed from a certain place. So, you know, I never wanted to be the one to fall out with my dad. Anytime me and my daddy had a falling out or fuss, it always hurt my feelings because I didn't like for us to go at it. I didn't like for me and my mama to go at it. And we did. But I was a little bit, I'm going to say this, I was a little bit more mouthy with my mama. I didn't disrespect her, but she thought it was disrespectful. She felt it was disrespectful. And then to an extent, from based on what she grew up with, it kind of probably was. But most of the time, I was really just speaking up for myself and speaking my truth. And so that's what I was trying to do with my dad. So when I made the video, I sent it to him and I shared it with him. And y'all, why I do that? That man told me I was a self-entitled narcissist. Now, listen. When I say we are two of a kind, what he called out in me was probably something that was within him too as well, because we all have a potential narcissist within us, or narcissism. But I really wasn't trying to be all about me. And that was another thing. Like he made it like everything is supposed to be about me. And we fell out, y'all. We didn't talk for a while, and that hurt my soul because that was the last thing I wanted. And why was I telling that story? With us falling out, it's almost like things were never the same, and that hurt my soul because me and Daddy would get on the phone. And we would talk for hours. Baby, we could be on the phone 3-4 hours straight. When I say we were both long-winded, and my daddy would tell stories and talk, and I just listened. Like, even as an adult, my inner child was just so amazed with my daddy. You know, it was amazing to get to know him and to hear him speak, and for me to be able to exchange ideas and us talk about the things that we had in common. So we talked for hours with no problem. And I was missing that when we was falling out, and every so often he would come up in my spirit. I almost want to ask, why am I talking about this? And I guess this is part of my inner healing that is taking place. Because I don't know if I want to get into that yet, Daddy. We were supposed to be talking about Grandma. It's like, how can I talk about one without talking about the other, huh? My grandma, on my daddy's side, she came to me in my dream and she showed me and prepared me. Oh, okay. Now the two finna meet in the middle. When my daddy passed and transitioned on June 25th, 2024, we hadn't talked once again like we usually do. Right after my Aunt Sheila passed, I made it my business to reach for him. And even before that, I was reaching for her. Like, part of my gifts, and I consider myself a death doula, part of my gifts, I see things that I don't always want to see, and I know things, and just to give you a little background on that, my ex-fiance, Broderick Love, he died in my arms, and before he died in my arms, before he was unalived in my arms and transition, months before that, I saw it in my dreams, the same exact way it happened, with him in my lap. When my mom and my auntie and them decided to take off in the middle of the week and go see my grandma out the blue, was it the night that they left and I was at the pastor house? I stayed because me and the pastor daughter was like this. And I was staying over at my pastor house. And he was like my father figure at the time. This was before I met my dad. I had a dream. I don't know if it was when they left or before they left, but I had a dream that my grandmother was sick. And I want to say that I even saw that she was going to pass. I think in my dream, that's what it was. And then when my mom and them came, well, everybody knew how I felt about my grandma. So I think it was hard for my mom to tell me. So she had the pastor tell me. And that's when I learned my grandmother had breast cancer. That's why they took off. And they probably knew it before then, so I don't know if it was taking a turn of events at that point. But that's when I found out my grandmother had breast cancer. And again, before my Aunt Sheila passed, which is my dad's sister, I had a dream. It's like I just heard my spirit say before my Uncle Butch passed, which is my mom, brother, I think I had a dream. So that's why during his funeral time, and I was young then, I took it the worst, like straight acted up, y'all. I remember crying, falling out, the whole nine. Like it was, I think, one of the first deaths that was close to me. So right before my Aunt Sheila passed, I was reaching at her. I had a vision, not a dream, about her, and something was going on. So I just started reaching. I just wanted to get to know her, but I was already longing for my family. But due to whatever circumstances, I never got a chance to talk to her, for I knew she was gone. And so, me and my daddy linked up again during her funeral time. We're going to talk about the bumps in the night, too. But during her funeral time, me nor my daddy couldn't make it to the funeral. We both were online on YouTube, thank God. They were streaming it, and it was just real funny to me that my daddy wasn't actually in New York, because I know how my dad felt about his siblings, especially his sisters. But I didn't ask any questions. I did see it, and once again, I started grabbing at him, because I had a vision, and I didn't want to give in to any of these visions. But all I know is before this man leave here, I got to make sure, even if he don't apologize, I'm going to do my part and apologize. So from there, I started apologizing to him, Daddy, I never meant to make you feel insignificant or anything like that, or make you feel like I don't need you, or I never wanted you, or anything like that, or that you was a bad person, because that was one of the things he said. I guess I'm just the worst person in the world. It wasn't that. I just really was trying to express my truth and share with you as I heal, and I was hoping if I shared it with you, it would give you better insight on who I was. And so I just, again, started grabbing at him. So we talked. I think my Aunt Sheila passed November, December of 23. And me and my dad, we talked up, from that point. We didn't really talk like we used to anymore, and that was killing me. But we would text, and at some point he stopped answering my texts. Probably up until April of 24. And me, as sensitive as I am, I was scared to call. I was afraid to call because I didn't want him to say nothing that was going to hurt my feelings, for one. Here they go. I didn't want him to say nothing that was going to hurt my feelings. I didn't want to be hurt by him. And even if it was his truth, I just did not want to feel hurt. I just wanted to love on him as much as I could. And that's what I was doing through Texas. But in my heart, I really wanted to talk to my daddy. And I wanted to have those long, drawn out conversations again. And I felt like I was being kept at a distance, and I didn't understand that. Neither did I like it, but I respected it. I didn't want to try to force myself on him, and I learned that from dealing with relationships, that I had a way of unconsciously forcing myself on people, or trying to get people to come to me in a certain way to, fulfill a certain desire. So I was trying to find my way of trying to do this without having to force it. And I didn't really know how to do it. I did it the best way I knew how. So I was texting, and he wasn't answering my texts, and I was growing through things concerning that. In about May, I was feeling him hard. And I really just wanted to talk to him. And I remember I was out working doing DoorDash. And I had something, I don't know why I did it, but that was another thing. When my dad sent me that long drawn out text, all I saw was the very top portion of that text, which said I was a self-entitled narcissist and some more stuff. I didn't read the rest because I knew it was going to hurt my feelings, like hurt me. And my daddy didn't really understand how his words cut. And maybe he did, but maybe he thought I was intentionally saying things and doing things to cut him, but I really wasn't. So I didn't read the rest of the message, but this particular night I was out working and my spirit say, I was missing my dad. I said, I feel like I'm in a healed place. I could read this rest of this message and see what it say. Why I do that? I was already missing him. So I read the message and I turned into a bag of water out there trying to work. I was no good. And thank God I didn't really have to deal with people, so to speak. And driving has always been meditative for me. So I was able to meditate and deal with it out there. But eventually I had to stop because the tears wouldn't stop. And I remember at the time my Uncle Pelt was gone. That's my daddy's brother. And me and him had started getting real close right before he passed. And I remember that was in July of maybe 18. Because I had just come back from Pennsylvania from chilling with my dad. I sent a message to Uncle Pep about how much I was to his messenger because that was my way of talking to him. You know, writing again has always been my way of releasing. So sending him that message to his inbox was like my way of expressing my hurt that I was feeling at the time, and then inner child wounding healing. I remember saying in that message, I just don't understand why he don't want me. And we have to understand how important it is to heal those inner child wounding because those things get carried over into relationships. And it made me dependent in relationships until I realized it, of course. But it made me very codependent in relationships. And when things did not go the way that I thought they should go, I was never one to attack people, but I was one that suffered in silence. And one of the main things was I didn't understand, why don't this person want me? I'm a sweetheart, I'm this, I'm that, why they don't want me? So again, that goes back to childhood wounding. So I remember expressing that in that message to Uncle Pep. So I also sent the inbox to Aunt Sheila. And then I called my uncle that is still here, my dad's other brother. And I sent a message to him, and he still, of course, is on the earthly realm. And this man told me some stuff that really shook me to the core. And what he told me, I really wanted to have a conversation with my dad about. But again, I already don't know how to get on the phone and have a conversation with him about all this other stuff, or just to talk to him. I didn't know how to get him on the phone just to talk to him because I didn't know how he was really feeling. I didn't know if he was mad with me still. And I was too afraid to call because I just did not want to get chumped off. And I think a lot of that is attached to childhood wounding. So, when he told me that, he dropped that bomb on me, and the way he dropped it on me, honey, he's militant too. He didn't cut no corners. He just boom, take that. And it hit me to my core. So I said, okay, well, maybe finally, my dad is happy in a good place. And I remember crying and saying those words because I've always just wanted him to be happy, but I wanted my daddy still. I wanted my daddy at my big age. And this was just last year, 24. So, excuse me, y'all. But he told me that. So now I'm even more in my head about calling him. So now I'm not even on having, now I'm in my head about, okay, I know I need to talk to my dad because I know I need to express my truth and I would like to get the truth out of him. And I'm in a place where I'm learning how to do things, to better do things. So I'm like, okay, I gotta face this. I can't run from this because from a child, I started running away early because I was running from my pain. And so I'm like, okay, I gotta face this. How can I face this without making this blow up too bad? And without giving daddy the feeling, because my dad hadn't expressed this to me. And so it's like, it almost like it can come back as gossip, especially if it's not true, if I didn't say it the right way to him. So it was like, okay, how do I say this? How do I open up this conversation? How do I, in my head. So Father's Day came around, and then and that was another thing I was thinking about, and it was like, oh crap, here we go again. Father's Day is right around the corner, and here me go wanting to have a heavy conversation that could strike the wrong nerve, and then we right back where we started at, and I didn't want that. I didn't want that. So I delayed so long trying to figure out how. When Father's Day came, I didn't say anything. I didn't say a word. And I didn't say a word. And I didn't know how without, again, it blowing up. And I think 16, 17 days later, my daddy transitioned, y'all. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. And the very thing that I was trying to avoid happened, which was us not being on the best of terms and him having to go. And that whole situation was hard because I'm my daddy's only child that I know of. And girl within me, at this point, is like, I just want my daddy. I just want my daddy. And now it's like I'm not gonna get him back at all, because now he has to go. And my daddy, oh God, if I could just open this. I'm in my daddy's house right now. And it's almost like, y'all, I don't know who this for, but some things are just unavoidable. And sometimes you just gotta do it. We at times will try to avoid certain things because we don't want certain things to play out. And some things are just unavoidable. And all I could think about was how much I wished. So, I cried and I cried and I still cry because I still want my daddy. And of course now he's closer to me than he's ever been. But I can't hug him. I can't look him in his face and I can't tell him, I can, but I can't. I said I wasn't gonna do this like this, but my daddy, the day I got the message that my daddy had transitioned, I think what hurt me the most, and even if my family hears some of this, y'all, I love you, but I got to speak my truth about my paternal side just as much as I spoke it about my maternal side. What hurt me was that nobody really picked up the phone and called me and told me that my daddy had transitioned. Nobody felt like they needed to call me. Now, I did discover after my dad's play sister, his best friend's sister, reached out to me because I wasn't responding in a group text that my daddy had sent out a few days earlier. And I wasn't responding in that group text, so she realized, this even and somebody had put in a text that he had transitioned, and I didn't say anything, so she was like, hold on, something not right with this. And so she decided to reach out to me, and that's how I found out he had transitioned. But then after I spoke to her, I realized that my uncle had sent me a messenger text, basically my inbox on social media, to say my daddy had transitioned. And honestly, it wasn't the way I would have done it. But anywho, I was hurt. So when I finally was able to get myself together a little bit, I reached out to some cousins that could reach me on Messenger, if nothing else. And I was met with some opposition, let's just say that. And the attitude and the energy that I received, I feel like was unwarranted. And although we all grieve in different ways, there was still some underlying energy there that I couldn't understand why it was directed towards me. I don't know if I want to get too far into that right now because I hadn't had a conversation with them about it. But, and I don't know if they even want to have a conversation with me about it because, again, we don't always handle and do do things differently, but I'm big on accountability. And if I find myself in a place where I feel like I'm wrong or I could have done something better, I will admit to it. Just the same way, my daddy chumped me off and made me feel like crap, but I didn't chump back at him. Matter of fact, I didn't say nothing, because I didn't want to fight with him. But when I felt it in my spirit to reach before something happens, one of the first things I did was apologize for anything that I could have done or said that made him feel some type of way, because I didn't want that type of space and distance in between us. We already had enough distance in between us with me being in Georgia and him being in Pennsylvania. So I don't mind. As Buta Broderick Love would say and taught me, I can stand a straightening. If I'm wrong, if I don't do something in the best energy or something like that, I don't mind speaking up. And I can't expect everybody else to be me. But what I will say is the energy that I receive is like, again, I told y'all I had to get myself together just enough to make that phone call. Even in that phone call, I was breaking. And even in that phone call, I didn't have the energy to fight. All I know is I need to get to my daddy's house because I need to be in his energy. I need to feel him as much as I can feel him right now because I can't have him in the earthly realm anymore. So I need to be in his space. That was my thought process. And again, the opposition that I was met with was so unwarranted. And to find out that what was happening in that moment with them traveling the way they were traveling and nobody had picked up the phone to even check on me, knowing I existed, it was a slap across the face. But again, I don't have any energy to fight anybody, so I kept it to myself. I didn't say a word. I was more so trying to figure out what is all of this about. So I didn't say anything, and I still, to an extent, ain't said nothing now. If you was to see this, however this come across, wherever this goes, hey, I'm here. But accountability is everything to me. And one thing I can do, I can hold myself accountable. I can't always expect other people to, and I can't always expect other people to be honest with themselves, but I'm going to be honest with me, always. I can't expect other people to be honest with me, but I'm going to be honest with me is what I was really trying to say. But 2 days later, I made my way up here, and I've been here ever since. And it has not been the easiest process. And I thought at the time I would get an opportunity. Okay, now I see where we're going with this. I thought I would get an opportunity to sit with family and we would have conversations and talk about this and about that. And that is not what will happen. That is not what happened. It's like soon as I got here, and I know other people had lives to get back to and all of that, things of that nature, but I was told that there were arrangements that they were put in place to make. For my dad, in the end, I had to make the arrangements because of, there was no paperwork, I guess, to back up what they were saying, which is fine. But I was willing to allow them to do whatever they felt like my dad had, put them in place for. But because there was nothing to back it up, I had to do it. So I was hoping to get opportunity to do it with my family. In the end, they had to get back to wherever they was going, and I had to do it on my own, which was fine. But again, what bothered me the most again about that was the amount of family that actually either made it their business or thought it was a priority to them to come back here for my daddy memorial services. Now, I'm not going to get into, I've learned to separate when ego is talking, so I'm going to be very careful about some of the things that I say because I don't speak from a place of ego. I speak from a place of compassion and love because I still love my folks. I don't know how they feel about me, but I love mine. You know what I mean? Because it is what it is, because even with me and my daddy falling out like we do and did, that's my daddy. Ain't nothing going to change that. It is what it is, So, I never really got the opportunity to heal or to grieve, should I say, because as soon as I found out, it was boom, 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 one thing after the other. And so I didn't get a chance to sit down how I wanted to talk about my grandma. But I thank God for Mr. Sam Lance because he told me about the picture on the wall situation. And nobody has ever felt the need to even give me any insight on who she was, how she was. Now, one of my uncles did give me a little bit because I had that dream, and I told him I had that dream. And then I asked him about certain things concerning her that I saw in her physically and in my dream. And he told me, yeah, she this, and yeah, she that, and yeah. And I was like, okay. So, removing expectations was something that I had to do to heal on my own. And I have done that to the best of my ability, even up until this point. But I love my grandma, and today is her day. And I miss her. I wish I could have gotten to know her better, because I know she was a sweetheart. I know that my Papa Joe didn't play. My daddy didn't play. So I know that my Papa Joe didn't play. And that's my granddaddy, y'all. My grandmama's husband. Now, I don't know how true this is, but my daddy told me that my Papa Joe used to work for Bumpy Johnson in New York back in the day. Now, what he did, I ain't getting into all of that. I don't know. But just knowing that, and when I look at pictures of my Papa Joe, baby, he looked like he did not play. And when I hear certain stories, the way my daddy used to tell it, don't play with him. So it's like they had this even balance of hard and soft between the two of them. And it was like she was the softness that he needed, and he was the hardness and protection that she needed and the family needed. When I look at all of these pictures that I've been running across, I thank God my daddy have all these pictures. Excuse me. When I look at all these pictures, all I can think about is how much I missed out. Because I think about, what it was like to sit around my grandma and my papa. And what we got from that, on that side, And all I could think about is, oh my God, what did I miss out on over there? You know, and I think I heard them telling some stories amongst themselves about what they experienced. You start to feeling a little left out, because it's like, dang, I wish I could have experienced that. But and it's crazy because I think I've said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. Somebody one time, a long time ago, said something about you can't miss nothing you've never had, and I feel like that was the biggest lie ever, because that's not true. That's not true. I never had my daddy up until the time I had him, and I never had my grandma up until the time. I never had my grandma, period, but I missed her, and I missed him. And I missed my family. I just knew me and my cousins was going to be like my cousins on my mama's side. And we going this and we going that. But I also had to face the reality, we aren't children. You know, we're adults. They got lives to live. They got stuff to do. They got their own mindset. I see how they kick it with each other. And sometimes that inner child in me feel a little left out. But one thing about it, baby, I'm very much sensitive. I was always a sensitive child. And to this day, I'm sensitive, but I'm a beast, so don't play with me. You know what I mean? So, you know, I heal myself. I comfort and hug and hold myself up here. God has separated me from the rest of the world for a reason. And I've taken... is it solace? I've taken solace in understanding and I'm getting the wisdom out of everything that I'm learning, being here alone but not by myself. I'm taking all of it in. It's to the point where, y'all, I can't even leave the house. The snow won't stop. For one, daddy car that's on the way out. Y'all, they want my daddy car. Anywho, daddy car, the tires on it. I ain't playing with this snow. Yeah, I've been stuck in the snow twice. 3 hours one time, 5 hours the other. Trying to get up the driveway. Because my daddy literally built the house on the side of a mountain. He built his house from the ground up on the side of a mountain. So to get to my daddy's house, you got a steep driveway to get up. And it's gravel. And so now that it's snow, tires was spinning trying to get up that driveway, and you got to put some speed behind you just to get up it. So the first time, like I said, the first time it took me 3 hours, and thank God for a neighbor, Miss Burt's husband, because he got me up there. And then the second time he tried to help me, and I ended up having to get myself up there, and I still got stuck at the top of the driveway. So the car didn't get back into the garage until like 2 days later. I was so defeated, because I was so mad, because I'm like, how am I at the top of the driveway but I still can't get in the garage? This is so crazy to me. I was out there shoveling snow, y'all, trying to shovel the car out of the snow. The snow was deep. This ain't no Georgia snow. The snow was deep. So I'm out there trying to shovel snow. I done used all the salt I could use. I had went and bought salt the first go round. And so I had a little bit of left, and I used that until it was gone. And I was wet almost up to my shins, and it was just like, I felt so defeated. My mom was like, Mitchie, get out the car and go in the house. Just leave the car. But I had to trudge through the snow like something like I'm climbing a mountain, y'all, like somebody climbing Mount Everest. And I had to trudge through the snow and go on in the house. I had Penny in the car and everything. And I had taken her in the house and went and got the shovel and came back. And I was trying my best to get that car out that snow, y'all, because I did not want to leave it, because, truth be told, y'all, I knew that car note was due, and I didn't want them to come snatch that car. That's just all it is. It's a whole lot of notes around here due. But I thank God that I got some heat. I thank God that I got some electricity, even though my phone might be lagging, and this conversation and video might be behind, but you hear my voice. You know what I mean? I thank God that I have some electricity. I thank God that I got some heat, in a bed, a warm bed to sleep in. I thank God that a place and provisions were made for me. Because when my daddy passed, I was dazed. 5 days, in 5 days was my mother's birthday. I was 5 days from moving out of her house from the time I sold my house and I was renting a house and I moved. And when I opened up a restaurant, and when I opened up the restaurant, I moved out of the house I was renting into the house with my mom in order to save some money. So I had been there like probably almost 2 years at the time. It hadn't even been 2 yet. And I knew it was time to go because I always felt when it was time to go. So I was like 5 days away from moving, 5 days away from her birthday. And I hadn't yet fully grasped where I was going just yet, but I knew the city that I had settled on. And the provision was really made for me here. It was made for me here. And even when I came up here and I had to handle business and take on this funeral and stuff by myself, my mom didn't take that ride with me. I drove. I packed up my truck. Again, I was getting ready to move. So I packed up my truck with everything that I could pack up, because the next move was my mom had to pack up the rest of my room and put it in the garage because, again, she was rearranging things in her house. My mama is retired. So, you know, her house, she was getting to the point where she was renting out her rooms. So that's income for her. So, you know, I was okay with that. I understood that. So that was her continuing on her journey, and then I had to continue on mine. So the rest of my stuff she had to pack up for me and put in the garage. But I packed up as much as I can, include my little Penny, my little dog baby. And we got in the truck, my Tahoe, and we drove them 12 hours on up this mountain to Pennsylvania from Georgia, baby. I got here 2 days after my daddy passed. And the provision was made for me here. Me and my mom cleaned this house from front to back. I learned that my daddy was suffering in silence. So it showed me where I got it from, because I learned how to suffer in silence. Y'all, we don't have to suffer in silence. Sometimes we stubborn. Sometimes we used to doing it on our own, which I am. You know, I've been a loner for a long time. As Beyonce, baby, I'm alone for a reason. Sending me a drink ain't appeasing. You hear me? I fill my own cup. I'm not codependent, and I work hard to not be, because I used to be. Will I be alone for the rest of my life? No. No, ma'am. No ham, no turkey. I will not. My husband is coming from one of these directions, and I am waiting on because we're going to have some babies. We getting pregnant this year. I'm putting it in the atmosphere. You hear me? And when we get married, I don't know. But baby, it's time for this lineage to continue, you know. But and I listen, religious people, don't come for me. Cause I just heard you supposed to get married first. Ain't nobody ask you. Mind your business. Let God play out in my life the way it's gonna play out, and I'm gonna let God play out in your life the way it's gonna play out. I choose to release control of how things are supposed to go. So you know what? That made me think about, you know, a lot of women have pressured these men into marrying them because they feel like they're supposed to get married before they have a baby. And guess what? Ain't now one of y'all happy. Did I say that out loud? I did. And now one of y'all happy. Y'all just go along and get along. Y'all go along and get along. Some people have gone along and got along for so long that even when the children grow up and leave the house, y'all don't even like each other. And y'all get divorced after 20 and 30 years because y'all did not continue to build between you two, or y'all just got married because y'all had kids, because that's what the Bible say. Y'all don't want to have this conversation with me. But honestly, your truth. If Jesus didn't teach y'all nothing else, it should have taught you how to live in your truth. Because that's what I got from it. Learning how to live in your truth and be you regardless of what's going on around you. And a lot of people don't live in their truth. They do things because that's what they're supposed to do. And sometimes what you're supposed to do or what you were taught you're supposed to do don't line up with your truth. So what do? Do you follow the truth that's banging and beating in your heart and your whole soul and spirit, your whole essence, I guess I wanted to say? Or do you follow what you were taught? Because from what I've learned and what I realize is God speaks to me, through me, to me. And God works on the inside of me out. So therefore, what I need to know by God and from God and what is really of God is going to come from here first. And whatever else I find out on the outside of here is only confirmation for what I've only heard and seen already. You hear me? So and I say that, and listen, I'm not bashing nobody. Everybody do it the way. Don't come for me. I ain't coming for you. But what I will say is, a lot of people do things because they pick and choose what they want to do, because that's what the Bible say, and what the Bible say is based on your interpretation. But yeah, I'm about to say it. Listen, the Bible is my basic instructions, like basic training when you go into the service, daddy. When you go into the service, mama. They call it basic instructions for a reason. They call it basic training for a reason. That's where it starts at. But all this other stuff, it was already in me. Like I told y'all, I think when I started this video, or did I? My lineage is connected to the Yoruba tribe. Maybe I didn't tell nobody that. I don't know. Maybe I was just walking the talk of the spirit before I turned the camera on. But my lineage is has traced back to the Nigerian tribe, the Yoruba tribe. And it made sense to me when I found that out, because Yamaja. Because I was able to put two and two together. My daddy was the first person that introduced me to my first reading, my first tarot reading, if that's what you want to call it. My daddy was the one that introduced me to my first meditational music, to the point where I was going to sleep. I only recently stopped going to sleep to meditation music because of data and the fact that I ain't got no internet right now. That's okay, baby, because I know everything that all of the necessities that I need, I have right now, and everything that I don't have and I've had to release for the moment, it'll be back. If it's for me to have, it'll be back. And but my daddy introduced me, and when my daddy, because my mom used to tell me, and again, my grandma was my first introduction. My mama's mama, that was my first introduction. How you walk in the house and sweep grandma's foot. See, my brain moving again. Sometimes y'all don't understand where this stuff goes back to. You sweep grandma or your mama foot at once upon a time in life, baby, they might just go upside your head. What were you taught? For those that believed in what we call superstitions, what were you taught if you sweep somebody's foot? Stepping on cracks. My grandma used to keep a horseshoe above the door frame on the outside of the door, on the inside too. These are all quote unquote witchy type things, as some would say. So my grandma was really truly my first introduction, then my daddy. And when my daddy started introducing me to things like crystals and stuff like that, it made sense. Because now I knew and understood where my love for the stars came from. Astrology, I was always into astrology. As my mother got further into religion, she used to tell me that it was witchcraft, but I'd be like, child boo. Child boo. Okay, I hear you. I hear you. But see, I thank God that God has always given me this ability to question things. See, a lot of people talk about, oh, the Bible. The Bible saying, God say, you're not supposed to question God. Lies, all lies, y'all. The Bible say, and it's all about the interpretation. You still running off what somebody else taught you. I'm running off what I have received straight from source myself. You hear me? Somebody gonna be mad. I don't care. Listen. You're not supposed to question God. That's a lie. The Bible says, in all your get understanding. How you get understanding without asking questions? Now, it's a respectable way to do everything. And I think when that scripture said whatever it said, the way y'all keep interpreting it, it was either based on what somebody else told you or your own interpretation. But it was based on doing things in a respectable manner, if you ask me. But there's no such thing as not questioning God. Now, don't come to God acting like you bigger than God or bigger than source or whatever. But listen, there's some things I understand at this point in my life about God and me that a lot of y'all ain't ready to hear from me. And I be trying to spare y'all. But baby, listen, I'm so connected. I don't need you to tell me how to operate in the gifts that God gave me. That's why I don't mind picking up cards. That's why I don't mind having intuitive sit-down sessions. If anybody would like to book a one-on-one with me, I'm open and available. Yes, I do intuitive sit-down sessions where I sit down and I pull out my cards and I see what God, Source, Spirit, Universe, and your ancestors are going to give me about you, that we can find that place that needs healing within you. Those are the gifts God gave me. I don't need outside validation of somebody to tell me, oh, you wrong, baby, in your mind, in your heart, and which ain't got nothing to do with me. That's your business. My business is my business. And a lot of people talk about a lot of scripture, but they don't talk about that scripture that's talk about intimate relationships with God enough. You know why? Because if they stressed it as much as they stress this other stuff, then you will know that ain't even your business. My relationship with God and how I choose to worship God and how I choose to step into my gifts and do what I do ain't your business unless I'm doing it for you. You know what I mean? Other than that, it's not your business for you to tell me how to operate in my gifts, especially when I got a direct line and communication to God myself. It irks my soul so bad sometimes when I sit online and I have to start reading comments. When I sit online and I hear how judgmental some Christians are. They feel like and you have been given this trophy of entitlement to sit back and judge other people so harshly based on their relationship with God, which ain't really your business. You know what I mean? How somebody else worship ain't your business. How they serve ain't your business. But you're quick to judge. Why is that? Because the Bible tell you can do that? Child, go brush up on your interpretations. Where is the compassion, you guys? Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? Y'all can be so mean toward one another. It is horrible. Listen, Lindas. And that's my mama name, so she not talking about her, but still. Listen, I don't need no help. 111 on the clock. I saw 111.13 because it's 111.49. I've been going for a while. But I thank God for the stability, the wisdom, the knowledge, the surety, the boldness within me that knows who I am. And I was raised in the church. I was raised as a Christian. So I don't let go and release my what I have been taught from the Christianity religion. But I'm not religious, y'all. I'm spiritual. Because you know why? Because I tap into my African religion too, if that's what you want to call it. But I tap into my African spirituality too. That's where all this other stuff came from. You know, I tap into all sides of me. Some of y'all need to stop denying who you really truly are based on what the outside world got to say, baby. I really hate that this video gonna be lagging the way it is, but if you hear me, you hear me. You know, I'm sure about who I am. I love who I am. I got so much more to say, but something telling me I might need to stop while I'm ahead, 1:13 on the clock. Because I don't know how much longer and I don't know how much space on my phone, but if this video was not to say, baby, I would be so upset. And I got a feeling this phone gonna be good and full. So guess what? I got my external hard drive right here. And I got everything that I need to go ahead and take it off because I'm going to edit it and I'm going to post it somewhere and I'm going to post it in pieces. But listen, y'all not ready. Some of y'all ain't. Some of my family ain't, unfortunately. But listen, I know who I am. You hear me? I am proud of who I am. I am proud of my ancestral lineages. I am African and Yoruba over here. I am Cherokee and Native American over there. And baby, I am all of the above. I'm a shaman. I'm a healer. I'm a reader. I'm a oracle. I'm a witch, even if that's what you want to call me. But baby, I'm a good one. Don't forget to put the good in front of it, because when you see me, all you see is light. Ain't no darkness in me, or should I say it is, but I choose to operate in my light. You hear me? It's a choice. People be so quick to say God and the devil and talk about it like it's on the outside of you when all of it is within you. And your choice, your free will, your birthright that was given when you touched this earth was your choice to choose which one you want to operate in, denying no parts of you. If anything, you learn how to work with your darkness. You learn how to wield that sword when you need it. You don't deny who you are for the sake of others. It's a thing called sparing others of your darkness, but you don't deny who you are. You learn how to integrate it. You learn how to suppress it when you need to and release it when you need to too. Me, I embrace all of me. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I started running from a young age, baby. I started running from my pain when I was about, 15, 16 years old, running away from home. Because everything at home didn't feel like home for me. I was hurt. I had been through so much. I had been I had been SA'd. You know what I'm saying? It was so much, and I did not like home. Home was a home. Home was with grandma, and because I couldn't be with grandma, I don't want to be here. You know what I'm saying? My mama did her best to raise me as best as she could with who I was and everything that she was dealing with who I was. You know, especially that parts about my daddy. Listen, I know I was not an easy child. I couldn't have been. I ain't an easy adult. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of men that don't deal with me because they know I ain't easy. Maybe at once upon a time when I was promiscuous, I used to be. Maybe they considered me to be, but baby, ain't nothing easy about me now. You know, when you step to me, you got to come straight to me. Because if you BS me, baby, I'm going to see it and I'm more likely going to call it out. So why we got to go through that? Why we got to go through that? Just straight, direct, straight to the point, baby. That's the Leo in me. That's the Virgo. That's the Libra. Yeah, baby, my birth chart got Libra 5 times, baby. Them scales got to stay balanced or I'm out of balance, you know. My Leo is my sun sign. I was born in it. You hear me? I feel like I'm about to give a spoken word or something. I was born in the sun when the sun was in Leo. But my rise, I don't even think I need to be giving out all my birth chart. Some of you little devils out there, don't be trying me. Listen, because my ancestors don't play by me. You hear me? They don't play by me. So don't be doing that. You ain't got no business doing. But I present myself to the world as a Virgo, you know. And I love like a Capricorn, you know, or I love like a Capricorn, or I have my emotions move like a Capricorn because I love my Venus is in Virgo too. So I love like a Virgo too. But anywho. That's why I say, listen, I'm a sensitive soul. I'm a very much sensitive soul, and I embrace that part of me. At one point in time, that was considered a darkness. That was considered my shadow. I tried to deny that. Like when I was going through my divorce, you know, I tried my best not to be hurt. But even though I'm not the one that walked away or whatever, but I tried my best not to be hurt. But it came to a point where I had to face my truth that I was hurt. Because it felt like a failed marriage. And tied to my Christian background, I felt like I had failed somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't leave. He did. And I didn't tell him to leave. You know what I mean? And if he felt like he needed to go, then go on. I'm not finna hold you hostage out there. Uh-oh. Sure ain't finna beg you to stay. You know what I'm saying? I ain't doing that. That's not me. That's not me. I spent a lot of my life alone. That means I have learned how to be okay with me. You know what I mean? I have learned how to face my truths, not run from them, not hide from them. None of that. None of that. So when he felt like he had to go, he left. And we was friends for a while after that. You know, we're still distant friends at this point. We don't speak no more like we used to, but that's fine. I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? He got what he got going on, and I got what I got going on. We all right. You know, I never want to see nothing wrong. You know, I never want to see no hurt, harm, or danger come to him, especially his daughter. His daughter was my daughter for a whole year. Yeah, I was only married for a year. You know what I mean? His daughter was my daughter. I took care of that baby for damn near a year, at least 9 months. So, baby, I carried her like her mama carried her. if that's how you want to see it, you know. And that was my baby. Shout out to Miss Page. That was my baby, and still is. You know what I'm saying? I still be finding ways to see and check up on her when I can. You know, her daddy was giving me updates, which I appreciate, you know. But let's talk about that before I run out of time. I have this strong bond to children, and maybe it's connected to how I was raised and some of the things that I went through in my childhood. But what I can't stand is for children to be abused in no way, mentally, emotionally, physically. I have found and realized that I'm a true advocate for children. I tend to stand up for children. Don't mistreat no children around me. I don't give a dang on how bad they is and this, that, and third. Don't mistreat no child. Now, I don't think children don't deserve discipline, and that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I can't stand to see a child mistreated. I can't, my heart can't take it. And I'm an advocate for children. I realize I feel like I'm an advocate for father and daughter relationships because I found myself in a few situations where I have been the bonus mother quite a few times, and it was mostly to girls. Yeah, it was mostly to girls. So I've realized that I'm an advocate also for father and daughter relationships because all girls need their daddy. All boys need their mama. They don't call it mama's babies, mama's girls, mama's boys and daddy's girls for no reason. You know what I mean? I think the two in the household, it creates a balance. Even if they can't be in the household together, excuse me. Even if they can't be in the household together, just being able to co-parent is something that is important to create a perfect, not perfect because ain't nothing perfect, but to create a balance that can produce some beautiful children, beautiful adults. They need both. So when I see women that are against or step in the way or manipulate father and children relationships because of what they have not been able to release concerning, and vice versa, even if it's a man. But when I see these people do stuff to control these relationships with these children because they mad or unhealed in places, baby, that thing strike a nerve with me. And I have, I started teaching men because I learned the hard way a long time ago what legitimizing children in the state of Georgia. A man has no right to his children unless he go pay some money with the government to legitimize, with the state to legitimize. And I think that's the biggest bull crap in the world. A man has no right to his kids unless he go pay some money. Forget signing a birth certificate. Unless he go pay some money to legitimize that child and say, this my child. He don't have no rights to it. And we had to learn that early on with my brother. So I started teaching men a long time ago about legitimizing their children. And then I started helping men. I helped my ex-husband get his daughter legitimized. You know what I mean? I started helping people get their kids legitimized because it's, first of all, it's a bunch of crap that they have to do that, because I hope they ain't saying it. This is the thing. If you're not married to that woman, and I guess they did this to promote marriage, but again, it sounds like it's forcing marriage to me, because just because you have a baby with somebody don't mean you're supposed to marry them, or you have to, because that's, again, how people end up together and they don't really belong together. They just got married for the sake of the children. Anywho, or they stay together for the sake of the kids. If you marry a woman, you automatically get legitimation. If you pay the money, you get the legitimation. But I don't think it's right. And I see me as one day as a person that's going to get that law changed. Because I hear now it's also in other states. But you don't just have deadbeat daddies out here. You got deadbeat mamas too. And let me, I felt like that was ego talking. So let me peel back and go back into this place of compassion and love. When I say deadbeat, I mean unhealed. Because what makes a person, quote unquote, a deadbeat is unhealed places that we tend to ignore because we don't see any importance in working on that part of us. And it's more likely your shadow, your darkness. But little do you know, the work that you can put into that is what can not only heal your lineage, your family, your bloodline, heal your children, your children's children. Like, people don't take in account enough how important healing is, especially the inner child. And that's the journey that I'm on. I feel like I done did a whole 360. I could talk for days, but I feel like I probably need to stop. I'm at 124. That's 7. Yamaja, 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 Yamaja. Some people say Yemiya. I'm getting there. I'm gonna get there. That's the ocean that is. It's calling me. It's like crack. It's like Pookie off of New Jack City. It just be calling me. It just be calling me. Baby, listen, I can't live without it. And this ain't even my favorite water. This is the water I have had to settle for because up here in Pennsylvania, they don't have the Eternal water as available and as on hand as I be needing it. I do have a few on down here, and they are alkaline water, and I drink them sparingly. And I drink these for the most part because it's natural spring water. If it don't say natural without ingredients, I ain't drinking it. I might well be drinking out the sink if you ask me. But anywho, I'm going to get to the ocean real soon because it's calling me like crap. And I miss it, but I can't be without my water, y'all. I dry up like a prune. I will dry up. Boy, I had to go a couple of days with no water up in here because I ain't had no water. And I couldn't get out the house. I couldn't get down the hill. And baby, I thought my throat and all of this was about to turn inside out. I felt like somebody was turning my stuff inside out and it was drying out. So when I was able to get me some water, shout out to my sister gal Toy, because she bought me 2 cases, baby. When I was able to get to that store to go pick up them cases of water, child, I was in heaven. You hear me? That's just how important water is to me. Fire is important to me too. I might be a fire witch, but we don't know. I don't know. I'm a little bit of everything. Let's just say that. I do know. I know that. I'm a little bit of everything. Sugar and spice and everything nice. You hear me? I gotta go. I think it'll be better if I go. But I feel like I'm going to be back. Because I am going to do a read today. I did a read yesterday that I'm going to upload. If you see that read, if you see this, hey, again, I have open availability. Also, my gift experience, God intended for this experience, mindfulness and journal, is about to be, it has been released. It's open now for ordering. And if anybody knows some great printers when it comes to journals and planners, I'm open to that information. You could drop it in the inbox or send me an email. Y'all, my dress, I want to stay straight. You can send me an email at BlovedBaisden.com, Beloved, BLOVEDAP.com, at gmail.com, I'm sorry. And send me an email. Also, for people that would like to reach out for an intuitive sit-down session, I'm available for those. Beloved, BLOVEDAP@gmail.com. Send me an email and we can set something up. And I look forward and I'm excited about this journey of healing. I am a healer because I've had to heal her, and I'm ready to help you heal you. I know I'm dramatic, I'm silly, I'm all of that. Like I say, sugar and spice and everything nice. Don't miss the opportunity, baby. I'll catch y'all in a little bit. I'm about to go. I don't feel like I done ran out like the old folks say. Now you done ran out, meet you. I love y'all. It is I, beloved. It is I, your earth angel. It is I, gift angel. And I am here to serve you. That's what I do best. God, life does not happen to you, baby. It happens for you. And this has been the gift experience. I'll catch y'all in a minute. I love y'all. Peace.